evening and welcome to Tucker Carlson. Tonight it's Halloween, so of course today was the day Congress took its first official step toward impeaching the president. The House voted 232 to 196 to approve a resolution that lays out rules for the impeachment process. It was a nearly perfect party line vote. Every single Republican voted against it. All but 2 Democrats voted in favor of it. Adam Schiff, meanwhile, the congressman from Burbank, was ecstatic. Schiff has spent years obsessing over impeachment like it was a young Jodie Foster. Colleagues say he has pictures of impeachment taped to the walls of his bedroom. He is believed to have written it steamy, unhinged letters using his own body fluids. So for Schiff, today's vote was thrilling in ways that only a court-appointed psychiatrist could fully appreciate. Watch him here, though, pretend that it was not, in fact, the happiest day of his entire adult life.
This is a solemn day in the history of our country when the president's misconduct has compelled us to continue to move forward with an impeachment inquiry. We take no joy in having to move down this road and proceed with the impeachment inquiry, but neither do we shrink from it.
We take no joy in this. Of all the many lies told at public expense in Washington, D.C., and there are many, that may be the most hilariously brazen of all in at least a generation, for those of you keeping track at home. In fact, for Democrats, impeachment is like winning the lotto on Christmas. But honestly, seriously, believe us now, we're not enjoying it, not even a little bit. Sackcloth and ashes, we're praying for you and for the president. Okay. That's not real. What is real is that the public is not loving it quite as much as Adam Schiff is. New polling appears to show support for impeachment in some decline. It's possible that voters are simply confused by what's happening. What exactly are the charges here? How do we go from disliking Trump to trying to remove him by force, seemingly overnight? And who exactly is this whistleblower who apparently started it all? We still don't know the answers to the most basic questions. Last night, the site Real Clear Investigations published an article about the man it says is the whistleblower. As of tonight, Schiff's office has not denied the substance of that piece. Publicly available information corroborates some of the details in it. It's a remarkable story in any case. The man is a registered Democrat who worked on the National Security Council as a holdover from the Obama administration. Over the years, he worked for both Joe Biden and disgraced CIA Director John Brennan. A news article from 2017 identifies this same man as pro-Ukraine and anti-Russia. It says that he was the subject of bitter complaints from some Republicans who knew him. In other words, more than 2 years ago, conservatives were publicly charging that this man was working from inside the building to undermine the Trump administration. According to the Real Clear Investigations piece last night, they were right. The man worked with professional left-wing activists, the piece says, to attack Donald Trump. He also held meetings with Adam Schiff's staff members, several of whom were his former colleagues from the Obama White House. And tonight we can tell you it seems likely that this man, the man in question, was also a source for Robert Mueller's investigation, his Russia investigation. What appears to be the man's name can be found in a footnote in the final report. Well, keep in mind that just a week ago, the New York Times praised the whistleblower, whoever he is, as, quote, a patriotic public servant. His aim, the paper told us, reassured us, was, quote, not to bring down Mr. Trump out of personal or political animus, but to rescue the republic from his excesses, end quote. So if Real Clear's piece last night is accurate, if the reporting is right, that framing is an utter lie. Virtually everything we've been told about the whistleblower would be misleading and intentionally so. It would be propaganda, like so much we hear. Is it? Well, only Adam Schiff can clear it up. He should do that immediately for the sake of restoring confidence in the U.S. government. He won't do that because it doesn't serve his political interest. But in some ways, it doesn't matter. We've learned a lot from the piece anyway. Whether he was the so-called whistleblower or not, the man that Real Clear wrote about was a nakedly partisan political actor in what should be a non-political position. His job is to protect the United States. He has spent his days trying to get his team elected. Now, that's wrong. Unfortunately, it's not unusual. Just yesterday, former Deputy CIA head John McLaughlin encouraged permanent bureaucrats here in Washington to continue to subvert elected officials, the ones they work for.
Thank God for the deep state. I mean, I think, you know, everyone here has seen this progression of diplomats and intelligence officers and White House people trooping up to Capitol Hill right now and saying, these are people who are doing their duty, who are responding to a higher call.
Is there anything that could shake the public's faith in its government more than former CIA, of all agencies, CIA officials saying things like that, telling us that subverting the will of voters is a higher call, higher apparently than democracy itself.